Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes, Nishant, we are able to see.
This is our first problem. Really, one of the most frequent problem asked in the interview, simplest one I would say. Like the problem statement says basically an array of prices has been given to you, and each index of a array indicates the day. Suppose, for example, like on the first day, the price of a stock is 7. On the second day, the price of a stock is 1. Then on the third day, the price is 5. On the fourth day, price is 3. Day price is 6. So basically, the input price array indicates the price at a particular day. Now, we need to basically buy and sell the stock such that we can have a maximum profit. Now, the condition here is you can basically purchase one time and sell one time. So, for example, if I buy at 7 rupees and I sell at 1, I will have a 6 rupees loss. Similarly, if I buy at 1 and then sell at 5, I will have a profit of 4 rupees. So I need to find that profit which is maximum one. Suppose if I buy at 1 but I sell at 6, I cannot sell at the previous day. I cannot go into past using time machine. So I need to sell at the future itself. So I hope the problem is clear to everyone. Any doubt?
Yes, it is clear.
Great. Then we will discuss like first approach is brute force. So what would be the brute force approach? So what I can do is basically, I say I purchase at first day 7, and then after 7, I will try to sell on every day and try to find out the maximum profit. That is one possibility. Similarly, then again I change the index to 1. So I selected, okay, I should basically buy at 1 and then I will try to sell at 5, 3, 6, and 4. So that would be the brute force approach. So let me basically try to explain here. So suppose 7, 1, 5, 3, 6, and 4. These are basically dates. So suppose I start with 7, where I basically buy. Then I can try for selling with all this. So suppose this indicates I, this indicates J. Now I can buy here also. Then after this I can sell. This is also J, this is I. So now I believe everyone can visualize how to write the brute force for this loop. I can use two for loops. I can start with I equal to 0 and then J equal to I plus 1. And I then basically try to find out the difference and update the maximum profit variable. This would be my first approach. So let's go through with the code also. Everyone can see the code, right?
Yes, sir.
So here, if we talk about the result profit, we can basically store here. So initially, we can assume the maximum profit is 0. And then we can basically start. Now, basically, I will use two for loops to traverse, as I explained earlier also. And then I just take a difference here. And then I just check like whether the profit is more than the maximum profit earlier is stored or not. And then based on that, we can update the maximum profit. Any doubt in this solution? Should I do the dry run or is it okay?
It is
This
clear.
is, it is understood.
So then let's move to another solution. So first of all, what is the time complexity and space complexity for the solution?
Time is order of n square.
Yes.
Space.
Space would be. I don't think we are using any extra space, so space would be 0.
Order of 1.
Order of
Space
1, yeah.
order of one. We can say it's equal. Okay, now try to optimize the solution. What we will try to do is we will basically try to solve this problem in order of n time. So basically try to reduce the time complexity. So what we can do is basically first let's try to visualize the solution first, and then we will go with the code. So this basically graph indicates price for every day. Like for example, on the first day, the price was 7. Price was 7. On the second day, the price was 1. And on the third day, the price is 5. And on the fourth day, price is 4. And on the fifth day, price is 6. And then again 4. So suppose now we can visualize basically how the prices are moving for a particular stock. Now I want to basically maximize the profit. So what I can do is I can try to find out the minimum variable, right? I can find out the minimum one. And after this minimum, we just try to find out the maximum, right? That's the logic to find out the maximum profit. But suppose if we find out the minimum, then we do not need to find out the maximum. The reason is I have the minimum. I can directly take a difference with this and store in maximum profit. And if the difference is greater than maximum profit, then we will update the variable, else we will not update the variable. Any doubt here? No.
Last part is not clear. Like if you find out the minimum, then how can we can calculate the maximum?
So suppose we find out minimum is 2. Now, once we find out the minimum price, what I will do, I will like whatever the array index. So suppose we say this is a price array. The price of third day, what it is? Suppose it's 5. So what I will do, 5 minus minimum. This is my maximum profit. Then for this 4, 4 minus 2, is it? This is also my maximum profit. So I will check whether this profit is greater than this one or not. If yes, then only I will update the maximum profit variable. Else I will move forward. So I will go for 5. So basically this is 6. 6 minus 2, which is 4. Yes, 4 is greater than 3. Yes. So I will update maximum profit to 4. And then again go for this position. And here I will go 5 minus 2, which is again 3. So
Yeah.
4 on.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
Anyone? Any other doubt? So let's try to go through with the code now. And can basically visualize also. So here what we are trying to do is whenever we are basically traversing, so we are always trying to find out the minimum price. So initially we took the minimum price variable as int max, assuming that whenever basically we start traversing, value should be less than from the int max, then we will update the min price variable. So I equal to 0, it will update the min price, and then again it will go for I equal to 1. So suppose for I equal to 1, if the price of I is less than the previous element, then only it will update the min price, else it will go into else if condition. And then it will try to update the max profit variable. And once we have basically initial value for min price and initial value for max profit, then we basically try to do again and again the same thing. So whenever we find out the minimum variable, we update that. and then we try to calculate the profit again and again. So automatically we will try to take care of basically the minimum value, the graph, and then try to find out the profit. Is it okay? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, clear, Nishant.
Yes.
So now what is the time complexity for this solution and what is the space complexity for this solution?
Order of n.
Order of n is time complexity and is space.
Space is order of 1 constant because we are not using any extra space.
Right. So this is basically the first problem which we wanted to discuss. We discussed two approaches. One is brute force and another one is single path approach. Now suppose in this problem we were considering only single sell and single buy. Like only one time we can buy and only one time we can sell. So suppose if you are allowed to buy on a different day and you are allowed to sell also on different day, what will be the maximum profit? That could be another problem. So this is another variant of this problem, same problem. Do you understand the problem now? Let me go through with this only. Take this example 7, 1, 5, 3, 6, and 4. Suppose if you are allowed to buy and sell again and again. So what I will do, I will buy at 1, I will sell at 5. So the profit is 4. Then I will buy at 3, I will sell at 6. The profit is 3. So total profit is 7. So this is the maximum possible profit I can have, or I can like do like this also. Like I buy at 1, then I sell at 6. This is 5 profit. Which one is greater? 7. One is greater. So we need to return the maximum profit which we can achieve for multiple sell and buy. I hope the problem statement is clear at least for another variant of this problem. Any doubt?
So in this problem, the second variant one, so how many times the user are allowed to buy, that will be defined in the question itself.
So,
Yeah.
suppose you are allowed to buy and sell any number of times, but on a single day, like you can only buy one time, and once you sell, then only you can purchase again.
Okay, got it.
This is the condition. Like before purchasing any other stock again, you need to sell it first if you are holding it. For example, when we buy at 1, then I cannot buy again at 3, and then I can sell at 6. Okay, so what should be our approach to solve this problem?
Can you repeat last line, Nishant, what you said?
I said a person cannot basically buy at 1 and then again buy at 3. This is not possible.
Okay.
Before buying another time, you need to sell it first.
Okay, got it.
Now, how can we solve this problem? As from the problem statement, it seems automatically very simple, right? Try to think. So the brute force approach will be same. What I can do is basically I can buy at some point, and then on the next point I can sell, and then I try to again buy and then sell, then try to create all possible combinations, which is also in the order of n to the power n. But we will try to optimize the solution using the single pass approach only. So earlier what we were doing in the single pass, like we will be having the min variable and then we try to go for the next peaks and then try to identify the difference. That was our approach. Let's move to another. This for this. The solution seems very simple, right? Just go through with the problem solution and then if required, let me know. I will discuss the solution. So first of all, what we did is we always check like if the current price of a stock is greater than the previous price, then we try to find out the maximum profit and try to append it such that we can have the maximum profit. That's the logic here. That's all. Let's try to relate it with this example itself. Here, what we did is we buy at 1, then sell at 5, then we buy at 3, then we sell at 6. So, whenever we are selling, the element is bigger than the previous one. And we try to find out the profit and then try to abandon it to the maximum profit. That was the approach. For the same approach, we try to write the code. Any doubt in the solution?
And can you dry run if possible? Bit 2, 3 element.
Just take an example of this. So suppose like the 7, 1, 5, 3, 6. Okay. I will try to run here only. 7, 1, 5, 3, 6, and 4. So we will start with I equal to 1. So we will basically check if this variable is greater than 7 or not. No, it's not greater. So I will increment, then I will come here. And then I will check 5 is greater than 1. Yes. So the profit is 4, which I basically added into the maximum profit variable. Then again, I change to 3. Whether this is greater than 5? No. So again, I will change to this. Then I will check whether this is greater than this. Yes, it is. So the profit is 3, 6 minus 3. And then I try to add these two profit. Then again, I will change I to this, and then I will check whether it is greater. No. So the total profit is 7. That's the answer.
Okay, got it.
So what is the time complexity here?
Order of n itself.
Yeah, order of n.
The space is order of 1.
Space is order of 1. Yeah.
So we covered two problems till now. One is best time to buy and sell stock 1. Second is we basically first went through the brute force approach where we basically first take first element and then try to find out the maximum profit with all the element which is next to those elements, next to the ith element. And similarly for all the elements we will do in the order. That was brute force approach, time complexity order of n square, space complexity order of 1. Then we move to the one pass approach where the time complexity is order of n and space complexity order of 1. And then the basically another variant of this problem where we basically discuss the order of n time complexity solution. I hope this is clear. So let's move to another problem. So the problem is maximum subarray, and I have covered this problem in earlier session also. So the problem statement says find out the continuous subarray whose sum is largest sum. So for example, like as the input is given, like for example, take this example, -2, 1, -3, 4, -1. So we try to find out the maximum sum. So like for the first element, the maximum sum could be -1. If we basically consider both the element, 0th position and the first position, the maximum sum possible is 1, -1, right? But if we basically considered only 1th position element, which is basically 1, so out of this, which one is maximum? 1. So I can say the maximum possible sum for of size of 2 element -2, 1 array is 1. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Now suppose if we consider -3 next element, now this could be a continuous sum array. So we will see like -3 + 1 and then -2. What will be the -4 will be the sum, right? This is one. Another could be -3 itself. So what is the maximum possible sum for this? -4, -3, or the previous one. So if I basically consider this sum as a array and we try to find out the maximum subarray sum in this case. So there are basically -3, -4, and the 1. So out of these three, the maximum sum is 1 only. So I will say I can find out the maximum continuous subarray whose sum is 1. So with this approach, we try to find out the maximum subarray solution. Let me go through with the brute force approach first. So in the brute force approach, what we will do is we will have ith element and then we basically try to find out the sum for all the element remaining. So suppose I took first element and then I try to calculate the sum for all the remaining element. Then I move ith element to the next element and then again I try to find out the sum for the next element. So this logic is basically calculating the sum. But the math.max logic, this logic will make sure, like suppose if we have some previous sum array, like which we basically talked about earlier also, the one which we find out with the two elements or the second position element, the maximum sum is 1. So if we have maximum sum, then we will check whether the current sum and the old sum, which one is maximum, and then we will try to update the variable again and again. That's the logic for the brute force approach. Any doubt here? So let me walk you through with this. Give me a second. Let's take this example and try to do the dry run. So suppose this is the array I have. Now I want to basically do the dry run for this. So initially the maximum subarray integer is min value. So suppose it is -infinity. My for loop is start. Currently subarray sum is 0. Now num of j is basically I is equal to 0, so j is equal to 0. So num of j will be -2 only. So this current variable will become -2. And the maximum sum array I will indicate with m, which is minus of infinity. So now I try to find out the maximum out of this. So which one is maximum? -2. So I will update this m value -2. This is clear. For the first time, the loop will run like this. Now, again, for j is equal to 1, the loop will. So j is equal to 1 is 1. So when we try to add into the current subarray, -2 plus 1, which is equal to -1. Now it will again check math.max. So -2, -1. Which one is maximum? -1. So this m value will update again. So m is equal to -1 for j equal to 1. Similarly, again for j equal to 2, it will go on and it basically try to find out the sum of this array and try to update the m value. Then once it's done, it will again go for I is equal to 1. So basically, when we consider I is equal to 1, now the continuous subarray value again start with 0. So this time the C will start with 1. Okay. And then we will check the maximum subarray. So suppose with the previous for j loop, assume this is the maximum sum which we find out. Now we need to check that -1, 1, which one is maximum. And we try to update the m value again. So that's how this route will continuously run and you will be able to find out the maximum subarray for this array. I hope this is clear. Any doubt?
It's clear, Nishant.
Great. So the time complexity for this solution is order of n square, and space complexity is order of 1. Now let's try to optimize the solution. Can we basically optimize the time complexity? So to optimize the time complexity, we will use the cadence algorithm. Okay. So let's try to first understand what is cadence algorithm, and then we will see the code. Okay. So everyone can see these images, right? So we will start with -2. So we basically initialize current and max. So we took two variables. One is basically indicating the current sum of a subarray. And then max is basically the result which we will return in the end of the logic. So we say, okay, maximum subarray is also -2. So we basically initialize these two variables with array of 0 position. Okay. Now I will start my logic. So suppose when I is equal to 1, I got one value. Now I will check whether the current sum array, what is my current sum array sum, which is 1. So current sum array sum is 1. Now what will be the maximum sum array? Considering the previous value also. So we will check -2, 1, which one is maximum, and we will assign to m, which is 1. Then again we continue. So basically, if we are able to find the maximum value from the previous one, then we will continue. So again, we will basically consider -3 variable. Scroll down also. So when we consider -3, now the current subarray sum becomes -2, right? Because 1 plus -3 becomes -2. So now whether we should continue or not, we need to find. Maximum subarray value is 1 and the current subarray value is -2. So we will not getting the maximum value right now. So we can ignore this subarray. Now we will try to find out the next subarray from the next ith position. So we consider 4 to start as a next subarray. And then we basically update the current subarray value, and then we basically check with previous next subarray value. So previous next subarray value was 1. Then the current subarray value was 4, which is now m will be updated to 4 now. Then again we tried for next element -1. Current subarray value becomes 3 and maximum subarray value is 4. Right? So similarly, if we basically go on, so we will find out the maximum subarray value. So the green area indicates the maximum subarray value. Now let me go through with the code so that you guys can link this logic. Currently, it might seem a little bit difficult, but once you go through with the code, it seems very easy. So what we will do, we initialize two variables, current subarray, maximum subarray variable with 0th element. Then we start with I is equal to 1, tell the length of our array. Okay, now we basically assign num value. So what we are trying to do here is, now we will try to do the dry run also in parallel. So suppose I is equal to 1. So what will be the value of nums of I? 1. Okay. What is the current subarray value? -2. Plus, if we basically add the